Hello, my name is James Mitchell, and this is my presentation for the position of Director of E-Learning for a local community college. So glad to be here. Thank you very much. And little introduction, my name is James Mitchell. I went and joined the Marine Corps back in 2006. I left the Marine Corps in 2010 and finished my degree from the University of West Georgia with a bachelor's in history and a minor in theater. I went on to spend the next 10 or 12 years in outside sales, where I sold digital advertising to small and medium businesses, as well as phone, cable, and internet services to small businesses. Uh, Leadership style, I believe I acquired while in the Marine Corps. Uh, Lots of my analogies may be related to the Marine Corps and to military, but I assure you they fit in a good manner. So the the objectives for this presentation is to discuss online learning challenges, supporting the online faculty currently in place at your community college, how we can increase student engagement, and solutions for the future. What I hope to bring to the table if I'm selected as your next director of e-learning. So to start off, some of the challenges that are facing students today when it comes to e-learning, especially in the community college level, is internet access. And I'm not just talking about connection for one hotel or one house or one apartment complex. Talking about community access. In this community, there are some rural spots where students are coming from, and they need to have good high-speed internet access in order to participate in some of the class activities. So with that being said, what I plan to do is leverage my community involvement with local providers and chambers of commerce to find ways for our students to get good quality internet access. The other side of that is we have to empower our educators and teachers to seek out students that might be having challenges when it comes to access. I'm not talking about just internet access to the home, but who might be in the home that is eating up some of the bandwidth. If a student is one of four living in a house and each person's on a device, that eats up the bandwidth and makes it impossible for the student to complete assignments or to be in an a synchronous learning environment with several other students. So we need to encourage our educators and our facilitators to seek out and find out, if those are challenges that our students are experiencing. The next thing is learning management systems. So systems like Canvas or Google Classroom or Blackboard have been in place for a very, very long time. And there are some instructors that are currently using it. Whatever is the current platform that we're using at this community college, we're going to leverage it, use it to its fullest extent, and make sure that all of the instructors are using not just bits and pieces of the LMS system, but the LMS at its fullest opportunity. So a lot of times on platforms like Canvas or Google Classroom, there's only a small percentage of the capabilities that are being utilized at any given time. If I'm chosen in this position, I will make sure that all instructors have a full understanding and are capable of utilizing the LMS system in place to its fullest potential. The last thing is the challenge of student engagement. I'm going to discuss that a little bit further along in the presentation. So how are we going to support our online educators? Well, the first thing we're going to do is find those that are already performing at a high level with online education and online learning. And then we're going to encourage those to assist with other instructors that are maybe having trouble with it. At the same time, would be interested in investing in bringing in instructional designers to come in and help are staff that are really struggling with designing programs and courses to be implemented in an online only environment. So that would be step one, is to invest in those instructional designers to come in, work with our current professors and our current instructors with the intention that the instructors will be taking over this process in the next year to year and a half. The one thing that I will say, if I'm chosen for this position, is I understand that a lot of instructors are going to come and say, well, this is how things have been done in the past. You would not be hiring for this position if you were interested in keeping things the way they are today. So if an instructor comes to me and says, well, I do it this way because it's the way I've always done it, you're going to have to come back with a better response than it's the way it's always been done. Because if you wanted the way it's always been done, you wouldn't be hiring for this position, and I would not be seeking this position. So we're going to invest in instructional designers. We're going to encourage the professors that are tech averse to adopt some of the new implementations of the LMS system. And the idea of, well, it's always been this way is not going to carry any weight moving forward if I'm the right fit for this position. Some of the other things that we want to do when it comes to supporting educators is have our instructors look for and understand the needs that adult and non-traditional students are coming to the program and the college with. These are the largest growing percentage of students coming forward, and they have very unique needs and struggles that happen along the continuum of education. I know this for a fact because I've read about it, and I will attach some of the articles of which I've read and been accustomed to, but also because I have been one. I am a student right now for instructional design, and I've juggled working full-time while doing it. I've had to readjust my schedule and take multiple classes in order to finish before, because I'm expecting my first child. That is unique challenges that adult and non-traditional students bring to the table. Oh, plus I'm a veteran. So I went traditional route of school for 2 years, spent 4 years in the United States Marine Corps as a amphibious assault vehicle mechanic, and then came back and finished my 2 years at the University of West Georgia. So there are unique challenges that are placed upon non-traditional students, adult students, and our veteran students. So we want to be able to support the educators with those students. And then, of course, the last bit is being familiar with virtual classrooms. How are we going to be the best instructors with a virtual classroom as opposed to in-person classes? Because there are so many new avenues with virtual classrooms that we need to be aware of and have familiarization with. So the next step in that would also be increasing student engagement. And the first step for me in that is connecting students with services. So where a student, first you have to encourage a student to come to you if they are having difficulties or struggles. Then it is your job as the instructor to partner those students with the services that can best fit their needs. On top of that, I would say the next step is to have a emphasis on career development for the students. A lot of what adult learners and non-traditional students will say is, unless they are learning something that is going to have a direct effect or can be applicable right away, the chances of them retaining and continuing their education is very little. And I have the citations for that. So we need to make sure that our education programs have a direct career development association with them. The last bit when it comes to student engagement is accepting honest feedback from our students. We always have the end of course critiques and end of course evaluations, and students will probably just go through and give all fives or tens and provide very little positive or very little feedback, and that can be used to make the course better. Wherever there is honest feedback, we need to encourage and take it into consideration, and look at it as what it is. Feedback is a gift. That's something I learned in the corporate culture is they don't have to give you feedback, and you should look at feedback as a gift, as a way to do better in the future. So when we hear the feedback, we need to accept it and consider it, and really consider it as the gift that it is. Because what is happening is the student is telling you, this is what I needed to be in this course that wasn't there, or this is what I think it should be moving forward. Doesn't mean you have to accept it or make any changes, but you should consider the feedback as a gift. It is intended to make your organization better. So the solutions for the future, like I said, feedback's a gift. We want to make sure that the feedback is being looked at seriously and considered seriously. And that kind of goes into the first step of this, which is professional development for all. We're not just talking about professional development for our students, but we're talking about for our faculty, for our instructors, for our professors. We got into academia because we're lifelong learners. We've never stopped learning. And that's the next step is e-learning is not a trend. The internet has been around for quite a while now, and education is catching up to the trends online. So we can either gripe and complain and be upset about it, or we can lean into it. And that's what I bring to the table is we lean into the technology. We accept that it is going to be a learning process, and there's going to be some difficulty in that. But it's not going anywhere. The internet is here to stay. E-learning is the new way of doing this. So it's not going to benefit the community college to sit back and say, well, we've always done it this way. That's not how the trends are going. Need to lean into it and be better about it. So the last bit that I'll have when it comes to solutions is I am here for equity for all. So what that means is if you are not going to be working towards creating better equity for all students, then I'm not the right fit for you. I'm here to make sure that all students have the ability to learn and to grow and to develop. And that means the teachings that we're going to be doing are probably going to put some people in uncomfortable situations. You don't learn from being comfortable. I learned that in the Marine Corps. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an environment that is safe for all to learn, that's safe for all to feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, if we are not going to be looking towards the equity for all in the education process, I'm not the right candidate for this position. So my name is Jay Mitchell. Again, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to your feedback.